YouTube! Please check to make sure you're still subscribed to this channel, as people get unsubscribed from my channel without their knowledge every day. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. You don't want to miss any Rise of Skywalker breaking news this December. To quote Han Solo, here's where the fun begins. Thank you, and enjoy the video. There is, according to my source with knowledge of not only the film but the internal workings of Lucasfilm, a cut of Rise of Skywalker personally fixed by George Lucas. This cut, allegedly, consists of 30 or so minutes of additional footage and contains a brilliant idea from the mind of George Lucas, a secret Skywalker who my source says completely transforms not only the film, but perhaps the whole abominable sequel trilogy itself. This cut is said by my source to have scored an 88 with test audiences in screenings. Though I must treat this information as a rumor pending further confirmation, my source informs me the George Lucas cut could be a redeeming light at the end of this soy-soaked, agenda-darkened, canon-destroying tunnel. It appears Disney is not using the George Lucas cut. This is an example of the madness afflicting Lucasfilm. My source contacted me out of desperation and woe. Woe at the civil war going on behind the scenes at Lucasfilm, and desperation that Disney had in its grasp an excellent version of Rise of Skywalker that George Lucas personally created to patch up the atrocious cut created by cinematic antichrist Jar Jar Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy. My source was hopeful when they initially contacted me that the George Lucas cut was going to win out at the end of the day. If true, and at this point I am considering everything my source is telling us in this video as rumor, so please take all of it with a healthy dose of skepticism, the George Lucas cut outscored every other version of the film and seemed a shoo-in to be the final release version. Except for one niggling detail. Quote, "Officially, Kathleen Kennedy has final cut. I would put the odds at 1 in 2 that the Lucas version gets the nod. The reasoning behind this is that the one person we haven't heard from is George Lucas. If he came out and pushed back, he could effectively checkmate her because he still has the backing of 99% of Lucasfilm. George's film is tied for me with Return of the Jedi and slightly behind Empire and A New Hope. It's really very good and makes these folks, and I mean the lot of them, look like clowns. I mean, think about it. He took their stuff, shot about 30 minutes of new footage and reworked existing scenes that actually explain what the fuck is going on, and got X-Labs firing on all cylinders for FX in 3 months. Trust me, Lucasfilm employees are ready to escort some people out the door with pitchforks and torches," unquote. And yet, as per another source of mine, the George Lucas cut is not what they're going with. Ego and agenda, it appears, have triumphed once again over fans and over Star Wars itself, if this account is accurate. As per my source, quote, "Up until recently, I must admit that I thought we were going to do the right thing. I fear I was wrong. What is going on now is horrendous. A circular firing squad of sorts with everyone attempting to divert, deflect, or otherwise blame Mr. Lucas, which is absurd. I guarantee you that his version is a winner and might not get picked because these people are shameful and are flipping out that The Mandalorian is successful. There are many agendas going on with this movie. To be transparent, I have one as well, to release the Lucas version," unquote. And yet, judging by what we've heard on this current state of the cut, it seems clear that they have decided not to release the Lucas version because apparently this would be viewed by those inside the company as a repudiation of the current regime, and Kathleen Kennedy would lose face. Now, I don't know for certain that the George Lucas cut even exists. This could be misinformation or disinformation, but if it does exist, and they don't release it for internal political reasons, what does this say about Kennedy's devotion to Star Wars canon and attitude towards Star Wars fans? Shouldn't the best idea win in the end? Shouldn't fans get the best possible product for their entertainment dollar? Apparently, this kind of thinking isn't in vogue at Lucasfilm these days, if my source is accurate. Here's an example of why. Early on in the production, my source claims, there was a brainstorming session of sorts with the production staff. As this meeting progressed, a writer mentioned that it might be a good idea to address what Yoda said in Empire Strikes Back in response to Obi-Wan's declaration, "That boy is our lost hope." Could the film tie another character into this to explain who Yoda meant when he said, "No, there is another"? My source claims everyone at that meeting got suddenly very excited. Is it possible we could finally introduce a character or two that we know fans love? Ahsoka, Ezra, perhaps Thrawn in the mix as well. That excitement quickly died, however, when it became clear the other that writer was talking about was Rey. Yep, once again, tripling down on the amazing wonder Rey. Rey was the answer to every question, the best as ever. The writer wanted to retcon Rey as the other hope that Yoda was talking about. When another junior writer who was part of the canon team pointed out that this would make Rey 33 years old, even if she was a newborn during Empire Strikes Back, she was told that there would be a workaround, to which this junior writer replied, "You're going to fix canon in post?" Unquote. So it appears, according to my source, that as things stand, hope is fading. Quote, "All is not lost yet, but it's not looking good. The locked version is the JJ/Iger version without Anakin. It's disastrous, more or less appealing to the Fast and the Furious/Transformers 5/Twilight crowd." Unquote. Indeed, my source claims that one outspoken writer congratulated one of the new head story writers on making the sequel to Ishtar and setting it in space. Quote, "Like I said a few days ago, shit's getting weird here. There are rumors that they may release one version in the Far East to see how it goes, but to be honest, this is probably just wishful thinking." Unquote. What's not wishful thinking is that with each new release of trailer footage, more rumors get confirmed. Rumors regarding the Wayfinder and/or the Sith Dagger apparently were spot on, and so the shills and apologists find it increasingly difficult to discredit my sources. Granted, this so-called dagger, which appears to my eyes to be a combination vibrator and squeegee, is one of the worst-looking props I have ever seen in a major film production. I wouldn't call it a Sith dagger so much as a child's craft project for their elementary school production of Peter Pan, with blunt edges just to make sure Timmy doesn't accidentally cut himself while being swung around on wires in the flying scene. It looks like a garage resin model kit, or maybe something carved out of wood and painted turquoise. But regardless of how awful it looks, it is officially in the film. It is a Sith dagger or Wayfinder or both, and it does confirm reports of a MacGuffin in the film that leads Rey to Palpatine. I'm frankly surprised at how awful it looks. One thing Lucasfilm generally does very well is visual design, but here it looks like someone was napping or covertly protesting. Either way, here's one more leak confirmed. As for another leak, the alleged lost script from John Boyega, that leak has been disputed by my source. Not the fact of it so much as its meaning or origin. Quote, "In my time here, I have gotten to see exactly one sheet of script. It was a salmon-colored page. Coding used for rewrites. It was one sheet of dialogue and it was presented like it was a holy relic. To make the assertion that an actor could walk off a set with an entire script is nuts. There are perhaps 5 people that have access to working scripts. I can't stress enough that these documents are handled like nuclear codes. What is far more likely is that Mr. Boyega was given the script off-site and told to lose it at a specific location." Unquote. To what end? I guess we'd have to see the contents of the script before we could even guess, but I found that bit of information interesting. Make of it what you will. Is it too late for the George Lucas cut? Does the George Lucas cut even exist? I have no idea. As always, I only report what I've been told as rumor, and candidly, I have no idea if this information is a hoax or genuine information. It occurs to me this could all be disinformation from Lucasfilm to discredit me personally, which is fine. To everyone attacking me for this information, I'm just the messenger. I have no proof of any of this, other than the fact that trailers keep confirming different rumors. And that's why I only report receiving this information. I never report that this information is valid or accurate. I leave it to you to decide for yourselves the veracity of this information. And if, come December 20th, it all turns out to have been hooey, and will know that this was all an effort to discredit me, which is flattering in and of itself, that any major company would consider my small channel worth deceiving. My source concludes, quote, D, I think we are going to lose this one. What really matters is that these people don't start influencing The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan productions. Am I the only one that got a lump in his throat when Mando was saved by his pals? I can't decide if it's spectacular or just really good, and it's just been so long since I've watched something that didn't make me want to kill myself. Unquote. A lot of fans feel that way, and it's nice to know that there are those inside Lucasfilm itself that feel the same. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Ha 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 ha.